At the end of episode 67, I promised to bring you a bonus episode to give you a status update on how things are going in Revolutionary Society with the members building out their lead generation system. So this is your first 30-day check-in with how that is going. I was able to get 7 of the members to give me some stats and some updates and some really raw feelings and opinions on how things have been going. And some of them even gave me permission to share their feedback. So, and their title and what they do. And I'm really excited to share this with you. So I'm going to give you kind of a little bit of background in case you didn't hear it. Episode 67, which will be linked in the show notes. I'm going to remind you of what we're doing in Revolutionary Society, and then we're going to dive right into the episode. This is going to be kind of not necessarily off the cuff, but I don't have a whole script for you because I am going to be reading directly what they're saying. Not necessarily verbatim because I want to kind of paraphrase for the sake of time, but I think that you're going to really want to hear this. But something that I want to note is in my overall observation, I'm really excited and proud that I brought this framework to these members, but also that I've been sharing it with you publicly. And the reason being is because what I'm seeing from them just in getting their stats is the month of February, for example, we've been building out part 2 of their lead generation system, which would be their lead magnets, right? And some of them had lead magnets, but even with some of them having lead magnets, they're not promoting it. And I wonder how often you promote your lead magnet. And the reason I'm saying that is because a lot of them, I would see that, yes, they would have traffic to their sales page, but they weren't getting any people added to their, email list. There weren't a lot of people downloading their lead magnet. And I found that interesting because there was traffic to their lead magnet page and there was traffic to their sales page, but there are a lot of gaps. And when you're kind of wondering, why am I not getting enough sales? Or why do I have to always launch? Or why do I have to be stuck? Why am I stuck on social media for all of my sales? Or why do I have to post so much? It's because there are a lot of gaps in how you're attracting leads and converting them. And so with them building this system out with me and working on conversions, they're not going to have this problem much longer, but a lot of you might still be kind of in that period or that trap where you are very heavily dependent on launching or really aggressive, very high pressure marketing strategies because you don't have any other way to make money. And so this was a really big observation that I had. And so to incentivize them to answer because it was a couple of questions, they had to give me a lot of information and do some research on their data. To incentivize these 7 people, I told them that if they filled out the form correctly, or not correctly, if they filled it out and thoroughly, that I would give them feedback on some ways that I can help them to improve their results. And so I just wanted you to know how I'm incentivizing them so you know that I did my best to get as many of them to answer for this episode. So as you hopefully know, in episode 67, which will be in the show notes, and for this entire season, I've been telling you that we're building out in Revolutionary Society a lead generation system that's going to help them to attract daily leads to their inbox, website, and DMs in the next 90 days without posting content every day or launching. And I also, like I said, I promised to give you this episode. We have 7 members who were able to complete it. Most of them have agreed to allow me to share their industry and their name. So I will have screenshots of different things to share like on my sales page and different stuff. But I think it'll be helpful for you to kind of hear their industries so that you can kind of see that these people have very different personalities, very different businesses, but they are all getting really amazing results. And this has only been 30 days of them following this process. And again, they haven't completed even their second window of marketing even these lead magnets, or even at the time completing the lead magnet. We're just like 30 days in with building out this system. So just for a frame of mind so that you kind of understand where they're starting from, they all kind of started with some variation of like inconsistent marketing, unclear lead tracking or no lead tracking, launch or pressure-filled marketing dependency, and content that felt more like guesswork than strategy. And now, after just these 30 days, they've experienced really major shifts, and not just in results, but also just in their confidence and their approach to marketing. So in this episode, you're going to hear, and I'm going to share with you the top 5 social platforms that members are using for lead generation. I wanted to still share that because I think we are very much in this space, very attracted to Instagram, but in Revolutionary Society, not everybody uses Instagram, and some of them hate Instagram. Instagram is my jam, but I don't force everyone to use it. We're going to talk about the biggest traffic sources bringing in their website visitors, the wins that like things like increased inquiries, signups, and high value clients that they were able to attract, the challenges of tracking leads and even maintaining momentum, and the biggest surprises that change the way that they market. And if you've been struggling with your marketing or feeling like your efforts aren't leading to consistent results, I think that you're going to really love this episode. It's going to be very insightful for you. So first, let's kind of start off with some of the information that I think will kind of give you some perspective of where everyone's kind of marketing and where their traffic is coming from, so you can kind of see if this kind of aligns with what you're doing in your own business. So the top 5 platforms that the members are using the most, I have a whole list of what everyone was using, but these are the top 5 for social media. Now, they are all testing different channels, but my members are mostly using, on average, Instagram, LinkedIn, Threads, Pinterest, and TikTok for social media. In Revolutionary Society, for you to build out your lead generation system, you have to have one SEO based platform, so search engine optimization based platform, which would require you to choose between YouTube, Pinterest, or a podcast. You can also choose to go live, and you can just pick a platform that you want to do that on, but I would prefer you to do the first 3 that I named. You have to have email, and then you could pick your social channel. Each member also tailored their approach to fit their strengths and audience preferences, which is proof that there is no one-size-fits-all strategy, and we especially don't follow that inside of Revolutionary Society. And we just care about you having a system that works for you. As I share their wins, I will also kind of share what that person's kind of a little bit, not a whole lot of specifics, but I will kind of share what we focused on strategy-wise based on that person's kind of energy and what they told me when they kind of joined Revolutionary Society, because everyone who joins Revolutionary Society gets a one-on-one call with me if you complete the onboarding as you need to do. The top 5 website traffic sources where their actual website traffic is coming from, which is really important because if you can recall in the past episode, the leads that we're tracking inside of Revolutionary Society and what you should be tracking and counting is your traffic to your sales pages, traffic to your lead magnet pages. And then, of course, so I want to make sure that people know where that traffic is coming from. So the top 5 was direct, meaning people are either typing in the URL or clicking because you gave them that URL directly. You'll see direct always just kind of comes up at the top, and you'll always see that in Google Analytics. Google, okay, organic search and SEO efforts are paying off. LinkedIn, social engagement driving, obviously, website visits. Referral, so this could be from partnerships or cross promotions from your own website to other parts of your website, or whatever, it could be. For example, I have my Her Marketing Coach site, and one of my top referrals to my booked and banked shop would be my Her Marketing Coach site. So that could be what the referrals are as well. And then email, which is really cool. So those are the top 5 website traffic sources, which is really great. And it's clear that relying solely on social media isn't the answer, which is why I like that number 2 has been Google. And seeing that email made the top 5 is also really big, and I'm really happy and proud of the members. So I wanted to start with those things because I think you kind of hearing that is going to kind of put into perspective that I hope that your top 2 isn't social media, Because if your top two sources, or one, I'm not going to say that it's necessarily a bad thing that your top two is social media, but one of your top two needs to be something that doesn't require you to be active. And so I told the members that I would prefer their top two, one of them to be search. And I said that because search doesn't require you to be active and doesn't require the person to subscribe or to follow you. It doesn't require them to be on a specific platform, and they can find you no matter what. And that covers you. Even if you decide that you need to take a break off of social media or you need to take a break from marketing, people can still find you. So I would prefer that be one of your top three for sure, traffic sources to your website. So I was proud that on average that was for my members. So I want to start off by sharing wins. We're going to start high with some wins. I'm going to give you their industries for these wins. I'm going to read it verbatim. Then we're going to talk about some of the negatives, and then I'm going to bring it back to a high with some of the things that surprise people. So let's start off with some of the wins. What my question was can you share some wins that you had in the last 30 days? And so I'm going to literally just read what they said. The first person said, I'd say my wins are my website views doubled. That's pretty cool. That person did not approve for me to share her industry. The next person said, I booked a client who downloaded my lead magnet. I have seen an uptick in my views on my website since having a marketing plan in place. This person is an ADHD operations consultant. What I liked about this particular person is she said that she does not have a lot of energy for marketing, and she is the kind of person who has to batch plan. So when she joined Revolutionary Society, she said that she really struggled with being consistent with her marketing. And she came from the Lead Overflow Challenge in the December cohort. And one of the things that she was sharing as wins really early on was that she was able to plan out all of her marketing because she came up with a more realistic marketing schedule. And it consisted of her getting back to blogging because she used to have a blog that she loved and she had stopped doing it. She got back to blogging, agreeing to do 2 blog posts a month. And she decided that she would focus on LinkedIn as her social platform. She does not post a lot of posts on LinkedIn. She had a lead magnet that she did 2 lead magnets, which she told me about. She, when I put out the new framework to build out this lead generation system, I put the curriculum out and she was already working on her. So she made 2 lead magnets, which she was able to share in the community as one of her wins. And one of these lead magnets is what the person downloaded. Now, originally, she didn't know that this person got the lead magnet. This person set up a coffee chat with her on LinkedIn. So this was like a DM or a situation where the person booked a call with her. And during that conversation, the coffee chat, the person said, oh yeah, I took your quiz, which was one of the lead magnets, and it told me which one of your offers made sense. I wanted to have this quick little coffee chat with you, and the person booked the service. Isn't that pretty dope? So anyway, that's just a little bit of backstory about this person. And like I said, she's an ADHD operations consultant. The next person shared that she marketed the challenge. She had a challenge, which was her lead magnet that she came up with when she joined the membership. She was someone who didn't come from the Lead Overflow Challenge. She was someone who was referred to the membership by another member, and she kind of came in hitting the ground running. She did her onboarding so that she could do her one-on-one call, and during her during one of our live sessions, she talked about wanting to do this challenge. And we agreed that the challenge sounds like a great lead magnet. During her one-on-one call with me, she told me how many clients she wanted to book for her service, which she is a systems integrator. So she does like Dubsado, Honeybook, like those type of systems. She integrates those systems and sets them up for people. Along with, automations, client onboarding, all that type of stuff. Because she does that, she told me that she's a new mom, by the way. She said that she wanted to book her clients out for Q2. And because that's coming up, she said that she wanted her lead magnet to attract people who don't want to DIY, but she still wanted to do a challenge. And so we came up with a challenge idea that would attract people who would still get something done, but not be the kind of people who think that they're going to DIY what she does. And we came up with the name. She used the Content Clinic for all that stuff. It was really dope. But I told her, if you want 6 clients, I need you at minimum to get 60 people in this challenge. She marketed the challenge from February. This is her sharing her win. I marketed the challenge from February 1st through the 28th, and I had 95 people sign up. I didn't feel completely drained by marketing and was actually excited to market that I kept adding stuff in, LOL. I went live on YouTube to promote the challenge. Now all I have to do is close these leads. But she has more than enough people to close. Even at the worst conversion rate, she should be fine. The next win that was shared is one of my biggest wins so far is gaining clarity on my overall business structure and how I want to engage with leads moving forward. While my lead magnet and full system aren't fully built out yet, I've still been able to generate strong, high-value connections through in-person networking. This is the same person. She shared a few wins, by the way. A major win for me has been implementing a new way of working with clients that integrates with coaching and services. I'm currently running a test with this approach, and while there are tweaks I need to make, I'm really liking it. This shift has directly contributed to improving client retention, which is a big priority for me. I was able to retain an existing client while also bringing on a new $4,500 client on a payment schedule. Although I initially planned to launch my quiz lead magnet last month, I faced some tech challenges. Instead of forcing it, I decided to focus on what was working, engaging with people directly. This approach has taken more time, but it's been worth it since the quality of leads I'm generating has high revenue potential, 5K, 10K, and even 15K clients. Beyond tangible results, I also feel a greater sense of ease and confidence. Navigating this transition within transitions while actively serving clients has been challenging, but now I have a clearer vision of my offer suite, how people enter my ecosystem, and how they can move through my services. I also have been updating my tech stack to align with these changes, and while there's still work to do, I'm feeling much more at ease with the entire process. This member has been a member for 2 years now, and these are just things that she's been working through over the last year or so, and she has already come up with the quiz during this time that we've been coming up with the quiz this last month. She has been focused on LinkedIn, which is working really well for her as far as her social platform, but one of the things she shared in a couple of the live sessions was that in-person networking seems to be working for her. And I usually, if you tell me that, I'm going to encourage you to not focus on social media and to focus on what's working. So I encouraged her to focus on the in-person networking. And so far, it's converting. When we get to some of her later wins, she shares that she's having a lot of DM conversations and that's turning into sales, which is really great. And this person is a brand and marketing strategist. So I would say that, just because you are, someone who wants to do the digital marketing, like I'm telling you, we're building a system that's for email marketing and you're supposed to have your lead magnet done in a certain time frame and you're supposed to be worrying about your email funnels. And she's also doing Facebook. She said Facebook works really well for her. What's working best right now is client retention, because one of the things that you have to do in your at the beginning of your first 90 days is the lead overflow challenge. It's a part of your onboarding, and in that onboarding and in the challenge, the first thing it asks is what is necessary for you to close sales and what is necessary for you to attract leads. And you have to answer that question, because when it comes down to it, where you're low energy and you can't really keep up, you're going to have to, and you have to reduce your activities down. You have to stick with what's working. She says she's busy, and so she stuck with what was actually working for her, and that's all she could do. She says she's having tech challenges. She says she's booked and busy. She's a mom, by the way. She had to stick with what's working, and she knew what was going to work. So she stuck with what was working. That's why it's important for me to kind of give you guys in this bonus episode some of the backstory, so you kind of understand why some of these members are making some of the decisions that they're making, and why it's important to, in this environment, be in something like a long-term container like this, because as the coach, I know everyone's background. So over time, I know, this person told me in our kickoff call, or she said 3 weeks ago or a month ago or 6 months ago that this was going on or this was coming up. So I always kind of know what's going on. So when I'm giving advice, I'm giving it from a place of I know each individual member, and on the spot during a live call, I can give advice because I know everyone's business. And so when she was saying, I hear little things like, I like Facebook, I like LinkedIn, it's working, but you said that what's working best right now is in-person networking. She also has a membership at a co-working space. That's what's converting. So anyway, just a little backstory for you. Okay, let's keep going. We have just 3 more wins. The next win says, I've become super clear on my framework and my brand, excited to get this private podcast out into the world and finally have a viable lead magnet that represents my work and the transformation I provide for individuals and couples. This person is a relationship coach. And what's really big about this is this person doesn't have a sales problem. She's actually been booking out her coaching program and her services. The thing with her is that she's had so many lead magnets and different things over time because her brand's been evolving. And so for her to get so honed in now into her, and when she said, like, I've gotten super clear on my framework and my brand, this was important because she is about to have a lot of visibility on her brand. And so it was important for her to fix her website. And this was something we started doing over the summer last year. In Revolutionary Society, we have sometimes focused things that we do just because of the season. And in the summer last year, we had something called Brand Camp. And it's just because, seasonally, the summer is a little bit slower. And so the Brand Camp, one of the sessions, one of the weeks was about your brand messaging. And she had already started kind of working on things with her brand messaging. And she submits a lot of the feedback loops, which you can submit these things called feedback loops. And you can get feedback on like your website copy, your branding, your lead magnets, your offers, your content. And she has been submitting. I've seen her working on her copy, her sales pages, her blog, all of this stuff. And I've seen it come together and her working on her framework and getting very clear. And so seeing that she's happy about it and feeling satisfied with it. And now she's kind of at these last steps where now she can feel confident to build out her lead generation system with the rest of us. And she's going to do a private podcast, which is something that she's wanted to work on. And seeing her realize, okay, these old lead magnets are the old version of me is really exciting to see. Like I said, she's a relationship coach. Next, this person said, I ran a workshop last week and I had 6 people sign up and 1 person joined my membership. This person is a spiritual care coach. This one is significant because this particular person is currently getting her master's degree. She's a mom. She has a business, and I'm pretty sure she also has a job. And she already kind of warned me that she's at capacity, and she said it's going to be really hard for me. So she was really upfront and said, what do you think I can do realistically to still kind of market without stretching myself really any further than I'm already doing? She told me what she wanted to do as an offer that she felt wouldn't stretch her. Cause I was like, well, what are you even going to be able to offer that you have the capacity for? And she said, a membership. I said, okay. So the membership is something that she wanted to do. And then marketing wise, I said, truthfully, it's giving SEO, because if you can just get something like on your website, I don't care which SEO content format you decide on, whether it's a blog, a YouTube channel, or a podcast. She chose YouTube channel. So that's her long form content because she already had a YouTube channel. And then I said, if you can do Pinterest, that'll give you some traffic because Pinterest is designed for that. Pinterest is also something that you can commit to kind of like once a month. And then if we can get you to ramp up a little bit, we can do like twice, maybe, every other week. I can get you to ramp up and we can work on you increasing traffic. So that's what we worked on for her strategy wise. And then because we're all working on lead magnets, that's something that she'll do to get the leads. And that's all we're doing. And I think that she's doing LinkedIn for her social channel, and maybe Threads might be the social channel. I can't remember which one she's doing. I apologize for the sake of this recording. However, just know that hers was very, very I don't have any energy or capacity. So we focused more on SEO so that she could be discovered and found by people until she has the energy. And if she had more energy, she would do a little bit more. So that's why it's really great that she did a workshop, because she had the time. 6 people signed up and a person joined her membership, and that's fantastic. And so the last win to share before we dive into some of the challenges is the person said, I now have better purpose and direction with my content and lead magnet, as opposed to just doing it for the sake of just doing it. And it's no longer just a tick the box for me. This is really important. This person's an operations consultant. And I love seeing this because, again, a lot of service providers I notice tend to not have lead magnets, or they have these lead magnets that were kind of just created so that they can just get a bunch of people on their list, and they're not good lead magnets. Like they some of the times didn't even have email sequences, so people were just getting on their list and not being nurtured. So the person almost felt like it was a waste of time, and so they weren't marketing it, or these lead magnets almost made the leads feel like, oh, I can do this stuff myself, and that's not the point of lead magnets. So now I want to really kind of dive into some of the challenges with tracking leads, because this is a big issue that you probably have right now. And I know that one of the reasons that there was a state of the industry report that came out, and I will link to it because I can't remember the person's name right now, but it was something that I saw on Threads. And basically 3 of the top 5 struggles that people had a lot to do with marketing. And one of the number one thing was, I don't have enough leads. And I don't think that that's true. I think you don't have enough leads because you're not tracking the leads. And the leads that you already do have that you're not tracking properly, you don't know what to do with them because you don't know where they're coming from. So you don't know what's working. You don't know what to say to them. It's just a lot that I think you're missing information on. So now let's get to some of the challenges where members really struggled when it comes to tracking leads. And there were 5 things that really stood out. Something that I want you to understand is growth doesn't really happen without there being issues. So I know that I share like a lot of wins and they sound great, but setting up this lead generation system doesn't mean that my members aren't going to have struggles along the way, or they're never going to have struggles after this lead generation system is set up. And so here were some of the common challenges that the members faced. One is tracking leads felt messy. Some struggled with keeping track of like in-person leads, or even just making sure that Google Analytics was actually capturing the right data. So one of the things that I already knew was going to be an issue is something like Google Analytics, because in some instances, I think it's user error, right? But in a lot of instances, I just think something like Google Analytics is intimidating. I don't even like looking in there. And so I try to make things like Google Analytics as easy as possible for the members. So I have a training walking through it. But even today was Revolutionary Society Day. And in Revolutionary Society Live, I asked who was having trouble still with tracking their data, because somebody had mentioned it, and I asked if anybody else was, and 3 of the people on the call, and it was like 12 or 13 of them on the call, said that they were. And I asked each of them what the problem was. And then one by one, I was showing them live what they said that they were struggling with. And they were all like, okay, I figured it out. One person said, I want to look at it offline and I'll let you know if I have a problem. But then she commented on the Loom video where I walked them through it, because it's a part of your onboarding. In your onboarding, where you go to something called opening tracks, it's how you set up your lead generation system. It walks you through how to set this up. It tells you how to do the Google Analytics, and she was able to fix her. So then tracking in-person leads, that's going to be on you to get more diligent about. We have a tracker that is called Track Your Hits, and you can use it's in Notion, you can use it in Excel, or you can use it inside of Airtable. It doesn't matter. It's the same tracker. I just have it in different formats based on what you like to use tech-wise. And either way, it has a place for you to track your leads. So she just has to come home after meeting with someone in person and just track it in there. It's just a process thing. You got to get used to it. I don't think that it's natural for most people or the average person to track a lead every single day. Like, what a nightmare. But I do believe that you have to make it something that you have as a part of your process. And so if she can make it a part of her process, it'll be easier. The second challenge was disorganization in the early stages. So for those just starting, it felt overwhelming to organize content, to track it, to follow up with people. And again, this is something that you're just going to have to learn. Like, we all have to learn how to get better at processes, and we have to learn what works and doesn't work for us. The third thing was like tech hiccups with things like lead magnets. Like, one member faced the tech issues with the quiz funnel and had to pivot. These things are going to happen. You have to be careful when you choose what you want to do for your business. And if it's going to be something that's very tech heavy, then you have to recognize that the headache is kind of just in the beginning with the setup. And then after that, it's done. And, a lot of marketing is tech. Like, there's ManyChat, there are pop-ups, there's Google Analytics tracking codes, there are ads, and there's all kinds of things that you have to set up. But once it's done, a lot of that stuff is a lifesaver, and it's going to do far more good than it gave you a headache in the beginning. The next challenge is low website engagement time. Some of them noticed that people weren't staying on their website long enough, prompting them to adjust their content strategy to highlight offers earlier. And so when you see that people are like coming to your website but then leaving, this, first of all, is one of the main reasons why I say you need to track your visitors to your website and pay attention, because now it becomes, okay, I don't have a lead attraction issue. I have a conversion issue. I have a copy issue. I have a website user experience issue, but you can work on fixing those things. And so this is something that we're going to be working on inside of Revolutionary Society. In your first 90 days, we first work on you attracting the leads, and then we work on fixing the conversions and what's happening with the leads. So we've on your third month, so that last 90-day, the last 30-day window of the 90 days, we work on messaging, we work on your funnel email sequences. So like your subject lines, your call to actions. We work on the messaging in your content, on your, we work on website copy. We work on all of those things because we're going to look at the data and see, are people leaving that page? How many people are going there versus converting? So that stuff is something that they're going to be able to take care of. And then the last big challenge was messaging misalignment. One member realized that they were getting traffic, but not conversions, meaning that they probably have to work on their landing page messaging. So those were the biggest challenges that people really saw. The next thing is I want to kind of talk about where people felt like they wanted to improve, because again, we had a lot of great wins, but obviously there's always going to be room for growth. So here are some of the areas that the members are going to be focusing on next, and I'll kind of tell you where these fall in the 90-day process. So I'm going to give you the top 5. The first is more qualified leads and conversions, because now that people's traffic is up, and I'm going to give you some of those stats shortly, members want to fine tune their nurture sequences and sales processes. Let's kind of talk about specifically a few examples of traffic being up. So we had mostly all of these people's traffic has been up. So one person, when she joined, she had 2 people in like the last 90 days when she first, like during her onboarding, that had visited. Just 2 people. 2 in 90 days visiting leads to her site. Then her challenge time, so that was her first 30 days, her next 30-day window, 24. And this is that person who does the spiritual care. And then she went from that to increasing to 30 people. And that's just from her focusing on just having the YouTube. And I love that for her because her leads are going up. She's still following her chill schedule, and she already got a member. So she's not only increasing her traffic, she's increasing her leads, but she's also increasing her sales. And she went from 2 to 24 to 30. So it's just on the incline. And I'm sharing realistic numbers because I don't want you to be like, oh my gosh, she went from 0 to a million. No. The person who is let's go to the next person. The person who is the systems integrator, she, during her challenge month, that first month that she was following the schedule, her new chill schedule, she had 602 leads. And then her next month, which was this past month, she had over 1,000. She had over 1,100 leads. So her leads are going up, and this is her just following her standard schedule. And again, she said that she wasn't overwhelmed and she was actually enjoying the marketing, and she is probably going to book out Q2 very easily, and I'm really excited for her. The operations consultant during her challenge month, so the very first month following this process, by the way, she's also been extremely busy, and she hasn't been able to come to the calls because she's been knee deep in client work. And I think she also has a corporate job, by the way. Her challenge week the challenge month following her brand new schedule that she could commit to, 42 leads. Now we are at 75. So again, everybody's is going up, and this is them following their chill schedule. I'm sharing this because everybody's leads have gone up without them sacrificing or compromising what they said that they wanted to do as far as following their schedule. Okay, so now let's go to where people wanted to make some improvements before I share where they were pleasantly surprised and we wrap up this episode. So here are some of the areas that they wanted to improve in. So one was more qualified leads and conversions, which I already shared. The next one is better in-person lead tracking, which I already kind of highlighted a little bit with the challenges. And I wanted to share this one again because this person, the brand and marketing coach and strategist, she's not the only person who I've recommended in-person networking to. And so we have a trademark attorney I've recommended this to, and a business strategist that I've also recommended this to. And we have obviously other members who will do in-person networking, but those 3 people are the 3 that I've most frequently recommended that strategy to, because they get most of their sales, or a lot of their sales, from those opportunities. And so it's going to be really important for them to track their leads really well from the in-person networking. The next, or the third way that they wanted to improve, was more strategic content repurposing. They're seeing that the content is working on these chill channels. And what I like when I saw this is because many of them are creating valuable content and want to distribute it across other platforms, right? What I'm hearing though is I now feel like I have the energy to put it in other places. Before, it was like, I'm burnt out, I'm tired, I barely have the time. I got a lot of time excuses for why they couldn't do marketing. And now suddenly I feel like I can do more. I like hearing that. They don't have to do this, but they want to. And that desire tells me that what we're doing by building out this system is giving them some of the relief that they needed to be able to do a little bit more. And when they need to do like a launch, I bet you they'll have more energy to do that because they've gotten relief the rest of the time. I think right now, if everything is about launching and if everything's about posting content all the time, by the time you come around to the launch, you're already exhausted, and then everything is riding on that launch. And so you're just exhausted kind of all the time. But if most of the time marketing is pretty chill, or you only committed to what worked with your energy and typical capacity, then you're not overextending yourself. So then when it's time to really hit the gas, It's okay because that's not typically what you're doing. The fourth thing is they want to increase website conversions. So rather than just getting all these visitors, they're getting the visitors. And that's step one. Step one is getting leads. But now they have to focus on optimizing their website and their call to actions, their copy for bookings, purchases, subscriptions. And then lastly, growing engagement in email lists. Many members want to prioritize email list growth as a more sustainable long-term marketing strategy. But we're already working on that. That's why month 2, when you, during your onboarding, when you join Revolutionary Society, month 2 of building out your lead generation system is the lead magnet, because most people are not naturally growing their email list. And I want to share with you. So here are some of the numbers that I asked for. I asked, how many sales page visitors did you get? And here, I'm just going to ramble off the numbers to you because I want you to hear how the numbers dropped as we got down the list. How many sales page visitors? 455, 41, 733, 140, 120, 75. Cool. How many how many lead magnet page visitors? 54, 5, 361, 0, 0, 188, 0. Okay. How many new email list subscribers? 0. 7, 42, 0, 2, 7, 0. Notice how big of a drop. It's good that people are actually visiting their sales pages, because a lot of the members were pleasantly surprised. And I'm going to get to the pleasant surprises, by the way. But when I saw how low their email subscribers, and now I'm not saying that my email subscribers are high, but even their lead magnet page visitors were really low. Now, this could be that some of them didn't have lead magnets, but you're not getting a lot of email subscribers. That's not good, because that is a place that's going to help you to convert some of these leads that are hanging out on social media. If you don't have something other than social media, like if you can't get them off of those social platforms, it's great that you have your podcast, your blog, your YouTube channel. But if they don't convert, you need a way to continue that relationship that you can verify and you can track. And you can try to control that journey from them still working on the decision to making the decision. And it's easier to do that with an email. So that's why I want my clients at least to get them on the email list. So I like that that's a goal for them. So before we wrap up, I wanted to share verbatim their biggest surprises. And again, I'll share the industries because they all approved for me to do this. So I'm going to read them. So the question is there anything that's pleasantly surprised you so far since following the schedule and process that we've been building out? The first person said, I'm blown away that posting less got me way more leads than when I was posting 5 times a week on LinkedIn, 3 times a week on TikTok and IG, and every other day on Threads. I didn't get nearly half the leads I got in February from doing all that. And that's the VA coach. She also said my leads tripled for February. I still can't believe that, to be honest. It's insane, and I was posting way less. That alone sealed the deal for me. I'll continue to trust the process and work through the roadmap. These people also, for each of these that I'm reading, they all have approved for me to screenshot all of these responses and put them on my website with their name and their industries. So these will be on my sales pages, just so you know. The next one says how easy it has been for me to maintain it so far. This is the ADHD operations consultant. Again, I just love how straightforward she is, because she already told me this was not her behavior before. And the fact that it's March and she's been saying this has been so much easier for her since December. I think that I have ADHD personally as well. And when you can find something that you can be consistent with, it's a really proud moment. And any of you who are out there who are neurodivergent, specifically on the ADHD side, you know how that feels to be proud of yourself for keeping up with something and to see results from it. The next one says one of the biggest, she actually has a few. This is obviously the marketing person, so she shares way more things with me, which I love. So she has 3 bullets I'm going to read to you. One of the biggest surprises for me has been how naturally in-person networking has led to high-value leads. I initially expected most of my business growth to come from online strategies, but through my co-working space and other offline interactions, I found that organic impromptu conversations have turned into serious business opportunities. The realization that a casual conversation could lead to a 5K, 10K, or even a 15K client has reinforced the importance of being ready for these moments. Another pleasant surprise is how much clarity I've gained about my business structure and offerings by going through this process. While I'm still fine-tuning my lead generation system, I now see exactly how many people can enter my ecosystem and move through my services. That's given me more confidence in how I market and engage with potential clients. Additionally, I've been surprised by how much traffic certain areas of my website have received. Even though I haven't fully built out lead magnets or an automated system in place, people are still finding my content and taking action. This tells me that there's already demand, and with the right tweaks, I can turn that traffic into conversions more effectively. This is obviously the brand and marketing coach and strategist, because this is how we automatically start connecting dots. Here are the last two surprising things. Yes, seeing that people are actually going to my page, because I was not looking at these numbers at all. And then the last one says, the analytics, so glad I set them up. It's giving me much better direction. Oh, sorry, that last one, seeing that people are actually going to my page because I wasn't looking. That's the spiritual care coach. And the last one, the analytics, so glad I set them up. It's giving me better direction on the areas to improve and what to focus on, is the operations consultant. All in all, I would say the numbers that I was surprised to see is that a lot of them were getting a lot of visits to their sales pages, because I don't think a lot of them talk about their services. I watch their content, and I don't think a lot of them often talk about their services. So I was really proud to see, and even for my own business, I don't talk specifically about my services, and I have a lot of traffic to my services page. And so that was really exciting for me. I was shocked by how little they got people to their email list, although one of them had 42, which was great. But not a lot of them are getting people on their email list. We're currently doing a challenge, a very chill challenge. I shared about it on Threads today, but it's a challenge to get people to their lead magnet. And so I am going to be working with them. I also gave them a flow and a marketing plan for how to market their lead magnet. Now, granted, they were building this lead magnet the month of February, and it was the entire month. So they were building out they created the lead magnet. Some of them had longer ones to build out, like, a quiz is longer. A private podcast takes more time. They also had to write the email sequences, and they're not marketing. Most of them are not marketing people. So it takes a while to write email sequences, to write web copy. And they all have to, some of them, or most of them, knew to submit feedback loops to make sure that the copy was great. So we were going back and forth with feedback loops. So it took a while. So I expect to see these numbers going up. But I still was, sad, because I wanted to see them growing their email list. I was excited to see, one of the people had 10 DM conversations, which I was excited for. I was actually excited because I don't have a lot of sales calls. I don't take a lot of sales calls. Not that I wouldn't have them, but I don't. But most of them had sales and discovery calls, and it could have been, so the category, how it's listed, says sales calls, discovery calls, or applications, because I don't know what they do in their own individual businesses. Most of them, except two had zero, but the rest of them had something there. So I was actually really excited. All in all, this is just the beginning. My members have gone from struggling with marketing consistency to having a clear, adaptable system that's starting to work for them already. And I am excited to continue to share updates with you. So when I get to the 60-day mark, where they've been having their lead magnets out for 30 days, I will do another bonus episode to give you the 60-day check-in, and I'll ask them to give me another update. In the meantime, if you've been trying to generate leads but feeling stuck, Revolutionary Society can help you to build a marketing system that works without burnout, without constantly launching, and without wasting time on strategies that do not convert long-term for you. So you can join Revolutionary Society by clicking the link in the show notes or going to revolutionarysociety.com.